Good morning. Today we're going to read about Solomon's other activities, and you'll notice in your Bible section is actually called Solomon's Other Activities. So the reading is 1 Kings 9:10 through 28, or 2 Chronicles chapter 8, the whole chapter. You can read either or both. It's 1 Kings 9:10 through 28 and 2 Chronicles 8. So pause me and read, and I'll be here when you get back. Okay, so this reading covers a lot of different things. It's basically 20 years after the construction started, 7 years spent building the temple and 13 building this palace. And so in return for all that Hiram has done for Solomon, Solomon gives him 20 towns. Hiram said, no thanks, these are worthless towns. And some scholars say it's because they had this clay, yucky dirt. There's other reasons. We're not sure exactly why, but they were obviously, Solomon was trying to pull a fast one here. So Hiram had given Solomon tons of money. And so I think Solomon felt like he needed to give him something back. But Hiram said no. So Solomon built these towns up. And it's a little confusing when you read the Chronicles version versus the King's version on whether Solomon went into this building program of building these towns up. It's not sure whether these are the 20 towns that Hiram gave back or whether these are other towns. But needless to say, Solomon just went crazy with this building program. And he settled Israelites in these towns. And I kind of wonder whether he just gave away free land. Hey, Israelites, come over here and I'll give you some land. Or maybe he semi-urged / forced them to do that. It doesn't say. It's just speculation on my part. Anyway, Solomon built whatever he wanted, and he used Gentiles as slave labor, but the Israelites were his officials and in his army. So they were drafted, more or less. Then we switch over to the daughter of Pharaoh, and it says that Solomon built her palace away from the temple and away from David's palace where the ark had been. And you can go online and read the history of the ark and the Ark of the Covenant and where all it's been. But and you can even Google how Solomon's palace was laid out and where this Pharaoh's daughter of Pharaoh's palace was in conjunction with his palace, and it's all a little confusing. We don't really know exactly what the palace looked like, where it was. So the city of Jerusalem may be the old city. Solomon built his palace and this harem palace, which is probably what it was, outside the walls, and then maybe extended the city and built walls around that. It's really unclear how far away this was from the temple, this Pharaoh's daughter's palace, which, like we've said, is probably a harem, a place for the harem to live. This daughter, who we don't know a name, and we're really not even sure which Pharaoh she's a daughter of, there's a lot of discussion on should Solomon have married her in the first place. Some people say that she converted to Judaism. Some people say that she is the one who Song of Solomon is written about. Some people say it was just a political marriage. There's lots of questions about her and not really any answers. So it's just pretty much left to your speculation. The chapter goes on to talk about Solomon offering sacrifices on Passover, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Tabernacles, 3 big pilgrimage festivals that the Jews celebrated. And pretty much everyone agrees that he didn't actually offer the sacrifices. That was the priest's job. But he, just like everybody else that offered sacrifices, he took them to the priest and went through the procedure, even though the verbiage there says he offered sacrifices. And then Solomon built up a navy, and again, Hiram supplies the men for this navy. Solomon and Hiram, they're tight here. And they sailed to Ophir and brought back a boatload, literally a boatload of gold, 16 tons, which in today's money is about, give or take, $568 billion. So they brought back a lot of gold, and nobody knows where this Ophir was. Some say India, some say Saudi Arabia. Not sure, but they did bring back a lot of gold. So Solomon is getting rich. He's building a lot of buildings. He's making his kingdom great. He is making the appropriate sacrifices. And at this point, God is blessing him, and he's doing everything right.